Right, sensational. That is absolutely amazing. You got it right this time. Hi, I'm absolutely delighted to be on the Dugout podcast.
Yeah, so pretty much we will be talking about Rangers because we are joined by a Ranger person off of a fan channel, say for a better word, and he's nearing 1,000 followers on Twitter, so if you could get him there, he would be internally grateful.
I would be internally grateful. Yeah. Absolutely. And for those of you who don't like Rangers, I'd say listen along anyway, because it's probably going to be half of the news that will be spat out throughout the next couple of weeks anyway, and constantly fed through media outlets such as The Sun, etc. Just hear it here first, as fans discuss it, instead of people that actually want your money.
I do want the money. That's fine. So, pretty much, we are going to be talking about the Dundee game, because obviously that was a big talking point, and Murty's headstand as well. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
Well, the Dundee game, I mean, you can look back at it as a Rangers fan and see the 2-1 loss as, something that's terrible and unacceptable. However, the players are without a team. And we recently beat Green at Morton 2-1. And we didn't beat them convincingly. There was some good football play throughout that game. And I was worried what our next league game, which was against Dundee, was going to be like. Dundee appeared to completely and utterly school us throughout most of the first half and second half as well. Joe Garner's chance was an outside of the box long shot, which I found to be a lovely effort, very speculative, and he drilled it perfectly into the goalie's corner from a long shot. It was the highlight of the game. There wasn't much else to cheer about. I didn't really see many players performing to their best, as we're used to from a Rangers perspective right now. James Tavernier, 2 words I can sum him up. He is a talented liability. I've never seen someone with such promise, such potential as Tavernier, and yet if ever he bombs up the pitch, he never pulls back. And I think not having Lee Wallace in the team as well, arguably, yes, that could have damaged us defensively, but he has the same sort of issues as Tavernier in terms of bombing up the pitch and then leaving a huge hole in the defence for a counter-attack. But on the whole against Dundee, I think, look, on the day, the best team won. But do we have the players to beat teams like Dundee? Absolutely we do. I just think that you can't really expect the team to perform amazingly well, or even that well at all, if they don't even have a proper manager. They don't even know what their future's bringing. But I think Graham Bertie's drilling a nice bit of discipline into the side that Mark Warburton didn't have. He said that he absolutely tore into the team after the game, which Mark Warburton didn't do, which he failed to do, which from a fan's perspective you wanted, because Warburton had a sort of Paul Le Guen sort of attitude. Everyone turned up, they played, it's fine. Well, actually, no, that's not good enough for Rangers. But I think, Dundee, better team on the day, shouldn't have been, but they were, and graciously take the defeat as a Rangers fan, but it's a shame.
Okay, so about Warburton then, what do you think about that whole thing about him resigning and then not resigning and all that rubbish?
Well, first, actually, is it alright if I hear your opinion on it? Because I haven't heard an outsider's opinion.
Yeah, so pretty much, I honestly think that the board or Rangers just don't have enough money to just give them the sack, because obviously the compensation and that, and then they jumped on the chance of him resigning to go down to Nottingham Forest, I think it was, and then they were just like, well, we're going to put it through, and then, well, that's just what I think, that Dave King is a stingy wee bastard and won't put any of the cash into the club on which he promised. But I suppose it's his club, and Dundee United's chairman Stephen Thompson, well, does the same. Stingy and doesn't put any cash in the club and sees other business interests elsewhere.
Yeah, and that's why they went down.
Yeah.
But I think you're partly right in what you say. That for Dave King, the chairman of Rangers, to accept Mark Warburton's resignation, the bunny is, as I say that, despite the fact that he protested that he didn't resign, it was definitely a little bit petty. It sort of showed that he wanted him gone, and you're correct in saying that he didn't really have the grounds to get him gone. He didn't have the money to get him gone, because we're paying him $300k a year, or still I say so, we were. And what happened was Mark Warburton was offered a job down at Nottingham Forest. So he went down there, And he said in a press conference, as cool as you like, he said, yeah, what's going on is I'm scouting a player down there, very talented, to bring in talks to him. But what he was actually doing, he wasn't scouting a player, he was stabbing the club in the back. And Davy Weir, for a seasoned Rangers, well, potentially Hall of Famer, I was absolutely gutted that he'd do that to the club. You know, his assistant is Sir Davy, he's Rangers till he dies. Oh no, he fucking isn't. It's all be fucking lies. But yeah, I just think the whole fiasco, it just shows that we couldn't even get rid of our manager without it being a massive farce. And that's the issue with Rangers at the moment. We're making the headlines for the wrong reasons. I just think that Mark Warburton, he put some good style of football into our club, you know, be it triangular football, 1-2 passing. But what he completely forgot about his mantra, it's the same that happened at Brentford, is he forgot the defence. But bringing Davy Weir in as assistant manager, if he couldn't sort out the defence, if the best he could do was try and panic buy Philip Senderos after talks with Julian Lescott, who was terrible, broke down, what did he bring to the club? Other than a bit of passion on the sideline and a few angry faces here and there. I think potentially it could be the right move for the club, but I think the whole movement of the Rangers manager fiasco is lasting far too long. We need to find the replacement, and we need to find it now.
Oh yeah, because like with Joey Barton and that, because like all it was just Rangers, like, and there was always something bad about them, like wherever it be Joey Barton or getting beat from Celtic 5-1, or now the Warburton stuff, or the EBT tax case just came back from.
Oh yeah,
from the tax,
and that's why we say the phrase. It's all about the Rangers. It just completely and utterly dominated the news. But what I think a lot of Rangers fans are yet to realise, and I'm sorry to say this, it is all about the Rangers in the news, but not for the good reasons. We make the media a lot of money for the club at the moment. It's just such a shame to see how things could have gone this season. You had Barton, you had Cranshaw, you had Rossiter, the talented young player that was holding the midfielder. You know, Barton could have sat back with him, but he's also got talented passing and good shooting. Barton's gone. Cranshaw, he's just returned to training after an anterior cruciate ligament injury. Philip Senderos hasn't actually shown up, let's face it. Rossiter must be tied up in Mark Warburton's basement, so we're probably never going to see him again. I just think the whole season could have gone better as a whole, but compared to Championship last year, if you said to me, well, let's rewind 2 weeks. If you said to me that you'd be joint second and challenging for second, which we are now, let's face it, we're challenging, even though we're 6 points behind. If you said to me that you could get Europa League, you could get the qualification process for Europa League, how would you feel about that? I would have bitten someone's hands off. The only thing that frustrates me is not the fact that we're in third at the moment, but the fact that the style of play that we're playing, for the amount of money that we spent, and I know it doesn't sound like that much, but we still had the second biggest budget in Scotland at the time. This could be much better.
Yeah, because I've always had it like the second biggest budget, like ever. Obviously, ever since League Two, probably the biggest. Well, the second biggest budget, especially with. But no, because you don't even seem to spend it. You just seem to spend it on either useless players or contracts, or just fuck all. Because you're renting out the sporting shop for the Sports Direct people, and with apparently the advertising boards and that are going for dirt cheap. But it's all just chaos apparently, or at least that's what Rangers obsessed Chris Sutton says anyway.
Oh, for God's sake, Chris Sutton. But I think, look, when we were in Division 2 and even the lower divisions, we had the most paid manager in Scotland to be paid whilst at Rangers.
Yeah. Ali McCoy, jeez.
Do you know how much he was being paid as a manager?
No.
At Rangers?
Yeah.
Well, bear in mind, we were at rock bottom. He was paid £800,000 a year. £800,000. I'll reiterate, £800,000 a year. That's almost double what Neil Lennon was earning at the time. I think that with such bad management that the club went through, with such bad staff within the board, and it just wasn't run properly. So I think at the moment we're going through a sort of
Like a
transition process. Yeah, exactly, a transition period, just like what Arsenal will go through in Wenger leaves. But this is within internally with the club. This should never happen with a club like Rangers.
Yeah.
I think it was going to be a hard journey to get back, but Dave King promised us 30 million. People think that's through transfers. That's wrong. He promised us investment into the club. So far, he said he spent 18 million. But I'm not so sure.
So, obviously, you went to the Sutton United match.
I did, yeah, and it was a very refreshing, break from the hard time that is right now supporting Rangers. You know, I'm not playing the victim as a lot of fans like to say that we are. It's just, I'm sure you can understand, it gets increasingly frustrating. So, I'm not actually a season ticket holder at Sutton United. Tickets were like gold dust. Even like I think they catered to every single season ticket's needs, and there was only 5,000 that could go there. And 750 Arsenal fans went, and that was their maximum. So it was because I knew someone throughout the club. He used to play there. He was a 42-year-old goalkeeper that came back and saved them. Not Wayne Shaw, but his name was his name's Chris Fagg, and absolute gem of a guy. So I arrived there. I didn't expect anything because I arrived there at 6:30, and I thought that'd be early because the game kicked off at 7:55. It was absolutely packed for what it is. Let's face it, small stadium, but packed for what it is. And a funny story was that I was standing. So you enter Gannett Green Lane, walk left, and there's stands, and then there's what was there temporarily was the box. So on the pundit box there was Alan Shearer, there was Gary Lineker, and there was Martin Keown. Now I knew that Martin Keown has a bit of a sense of humour, so throughout boring parts of the game, I'd stare over at the pundit box and I'd make faces at him. And he would absolutely crack up. He'd look at, he'd do that thing, you know, when you sort of put your hand in the way so you don't look at someone. Yeah. And Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer kept on looking over, trying to see what was going on. But I just kept on looking away. Gary Lineker, by the way, what a cool guy. All these kids were throwing chips at the window, and he'd literally just hold his cup of tea, look over at them, and pull his face and says, "Yeah, cool guys." And I was just thinking at him, thinking that is my idol right there. But yeah, the football that played. I think Sutton United did reasonably well to hold Arsenal off to a 2-0 win, hit the crossbar, and have a couple of dangerous headers. There were a couple of occasions, particularly in the first half, one of their winning wingers, as you can tell, I don't watch them that regularly, were bombing down the wing, and if he just put in a good cross, a header could have happened, but no, it always went over the bar or to the far side of the pitch until the second half, when they started to get their crosses on point. Sutton United seemed to win every single header as well, and playing some good football. Theo Walcott. He had it against Sutton United when you thought he would, and then Alexis Sanchez was subbed on, and my word, he was something else. Touches on the ball, turns, but he wasn't really that much of a threat in front of goal. What did you make of the match?
Oh, to be fair, I never actually seen it. Like, the only which I watched was the Lincoln and Burnley game, but from what I've seen of it, it's just pretty much just that Padgate thing and Wayne Shaw. How he's been forced to resign is ridiculous. Oh, no way. Like, he should be hailed as a hero. Sleeping in the boardroom or wherever it was, like, for 3 nights a week is something else. Then he got the sack just for eating, and it wasn't even a pie, it was a pasty. So he got sacked for eating a pasty.
Do you get why he got sacked?
Well, yeah, because some bets and all that rubbish.
Yeah, I just think, look, it's what Gary Lineker said. The humour's gone in football, yeah, but helping the Sun he's helping us get rid of the Sun's money. So I don't really have a problem with what he did. Let's face it. If he's making the Sun money, then maybe. But no, he's doing the exact opposite, and we don't like the Sun.
No, nobody likes the Sun.
Nobody likes it, but people buy it. What the hell?
You know, like, isn't it Scotland's biggest newspaper thing? Because, like, or the most amount of buys, because it's either that or the Record again. But I'm certain that it is the Sun, because they've got like 285,000 papers a month, like, sold or something. It's ridiculous. Which doesn't even seem a lot, because that's only like the size of like Dundee. Actually thinking this shit, but anyway, there isn't really much in blooming Scottish football. Well, we've shot through the fucking questions actually. Thought it was going to take a bit longer than this. But So you'll be even prouder to announce your best 11 in your lifetime, obviously, because I'm not.
My lifetime best 11. Oh, that's interesting because, see, I'm only 19. I turned 20 this year, and I was born in 1997, obviously.
Okay.
So I had some greats in my lifetime, and I really don't want to miss out. So let's start off with the goalkeeper.
Okay.
I'm going to start off with the goalkeeper that I remember the most, which was Stefan Kloss. We called him the goalie. He absolutely earned his reputation. A very, very reliable stop shotter, and didn't do any of this Wes Foderingham crap with his feet. At left back, I'd have to go with, I think, probably Arthur Newman. Arthur Newman was very consistent. I think he scored between 4 and 8 goals for us as well, maybe more. But a very reliable defender, and he was one of the ones that could track back, and he played multiple times for his country too. At centre back, now I think he didn't spend a long time at Rangers, but Carlos Cuellar. Carlos Cuellar, at the time he was at Rangers, oh my God, what an absolute enigma. He just played amazingly throughout his whole time at us, and I haven't seen a defender do that since. But someone else who comes close to that would be his partnership, which is Majid Bagheera. He stayed for us for about 46 years, 426, obviously not 46, and he was very reliable. He had many songs about him, many fan chants, and recently he asked to come back, but that'd be moving back to the old ways, and you sort of want to move forward as a club. At right back, I'd have to say Alan Hutton. I don't think that we've had a right back as reliable as him since, and we sold him for, I think, 8 million to Aston Villa after about 3 to 4 years of service with Rangers. So obviously my formation would be a 4-4-2 because we got a few talented midfielders to get through. So left mid. Okay, this is a bit of a difficult one. I'm going to do the centre mids first. So my centre mid, I'm going to go for Barry Ferguson. Barry Ferguson, I wish we could make a player like him again. Who knows? Maybe that'll be Billy Gilmour. He made a couple of stupid mistakes in his career, just like on the sidelines, which led to his quick release from Rangers.
You can't forget Boothgate.
Say again?
We cannot forget Boothgate. Well, that done Boothgate.
Oh, yeah.
The one that got pissed off and went
Barry Ferguson and just
game. Or the Scotland game after getting pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, people compare him to Scott Brown. They're two very different players. Scott Brown's obviously more defensive. Scott Brown always had more pace. But on the whole, I very much fight the corner for Barry Ferguson because I do think he was a better player. The other central midfielder would have to be the Northern Irish player that currently plays for Southampton, Stephen Davis. Stephen Davis brought just a world of class to the Rangers game. The passes that he brings, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little upset thinking about these players because I know we're not going to have them again. His free kicks were reliable, same as Barry Ferguson's, and he was always a player that would turn up for you. Actually, I think I might go 4-3-3 so I can have... I'm going to go 4-3-3 instead. So I'm going to add for the long shot. I absolutely love this guy, as you can tell. I was going to go with Lee McCulloch, but he was never one of our best. He was always one of my favourite, but I'm not. I'm going to go with Pedro Mendes because the short time that he was at Rangers, he just made an absolute impact as soon as he started. His long shots were absolutely phenomenal. And if you haven't seen them, if you're new to being a Scottish football fan whatsoever for any reason, just check him out on YouTube. Pedro Mendes' long shots, what a talented player he was. So that's my three midfielders. So left wing, I'm going to go with Peter Lovenkrantz. Now, Peter Lovenkrantz, he loved scoring against Celtic. He absolutely loved it. He relished it. See, I was just thinking right back I could have gone with Sasa Papac, which I can regret now, but I said Hutton. So yeah, left wing, Peter Lovenkrantz. He had pace, he could dribble with the ball, he wasn't afraid to shoot, and shooting is a huge issue with Rangers right now. So, what do you think on that? I think my striker should be... I think you can tell who my striker's going to be, can't you?
Oh, I don't know, because there's loads of good strikers, but in my lifetime, I don't know. Like for my lifetime. So but the one I'm going to push in my brain is Jelevic.
Exactly. So I would have Chris Boyd at striker, but with Jelevic pushed out to right wing and his way. It sounds stupid, but
yeah.
Chris Boyd was a player that wouldn't exactly work his arse off. He was sort of like not literally fat, but in terms of football ideology, he was a fat, lazy striker that would just
Matt Letizia, like for Southampton.
Oh my God, yeah, he just literally would finish everything that you put in front of him. And that was absolutely sensational. I haven't seen a player quite as reliable at Rangers since, you could argue, Kenny Miller, but no one finished like Chris Boyd. I think he's a league's top scorer as well, which is, it speaks stories. And the reason why I put Nikic Jelavic out on the right wing, he was called the Flying Fortress, and he worked his socks off for any team he ever played for. Having Nikic Jelavic at right wing, it gives you the energy for the player to work his way through and feed it through to Chris Boyd. But I wish we had players like these again. But I do regret not saying Sasa Pap actually is so consistent for us.
Well, yeah, because that is a rather strong team. That team would definitely win the Premier League. Well, obviously the Scottish Premier League. No weird sort of English Premier League quality. Well, yet again, neither of any Scottish team. Even though plenty of them have went on to play in the English Premier League, like Hutton, Davies and Jelavic, and probably loads more, which I can't remember on what players you've even said, to be fair, except to them. How could Scotland improve their international team? Or how do you think they could improve it?
You want the honest answer there?
Yeah.
The honest answer is I honestly don't have a clue. But what I think we can say for sure is that Hibs, Celtic and Rangers, we all have sensational academies. I particularly fight the case for Rangers because recently our under-15s beat Celtic under-15 6-1. We got the likes of Billy Gilmore, Miles Bierman, Josh Jeffries, all of these promising names that are coming through. And of course, Celtic have Karamenko Dembele, the young player who's making so much noise, training with the first team. I think it was age 13 when he did that. And Hibs, they brought through the likes of Scott Brown, and they continue to throw the odd player here and there. But you look at Oliver Burke. Oliver Burke is currently at Rasenballsport Leipzig, and he's making a bit of a name for himself there. Not as a goal scorer, but as a pacey impact player who can beat his man, swing the ball in, and not only is he fast, he's also very, very strong, and that's something that that's what has been compared to the likes of Gareth Bale. But if ever there's a promising player for a nation, you get compared to Bale. I don't know how we could strengthen the team. Maybe serious investment within the leagues, because the Scottish League, let's face it, is miles behind the others. Just apart from what used to be the top two, Rangers and Celtic. But as soon as Rangers are back, as we should be, as we used to be, then I think that's when the game will seriously start to improve. But you look at the Spanish leagues, the English leagues; they've had serious investment. People coming over from Saudi Arabia, Egypt, billionaires to come in and put money into the club. We haven't necessarily had that properly in Scotland. And should that happen, I think that's when we can properly start to invest into the youth. But things like Rangers Lotto, that invest into the youth of Rangers, and I think they get about £26,000 a week through fans from that. So congratulations to them for that.
Right, the week before, we done the Scottish Cup predictions. So this week we will do the week ahead league predictions. So obviously tomorrow, Inverness versus Rangers. How do you think that one will go down?
So Inverness versus Rangers.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So I think after the spell of form that we've had, okay, I think yeah, go for it. You go first.
I think it'll be like a 1-1.
I think it'll be a draw.
Inverness are bottom of the league. I still think, due to Rangers' form, they should have the class to pull through. But I still think that it will be a 1-0 draw or 2-0 or something like that.
Well, I think you could be right. If it was at Ibrox, I'd argue the opposite way. But we've got a terrible away record this season, and that is the legacy of Mark Warburton, really, isn't it? Yeah. You can't understand why a team doesn't pour form away from home. If consistency, what they did throughout December, they could win games at home. But as soon as it went to away, it became more difficult for them. Now, Inverness, I think you might find this interesting, what I'm about to say, and you might call me delusional, but here's what I think. I think if every team played the way that they play against Rangers, the Scottish Premier League wouldn't be half bad. I think every team steps it up a notch, and this is something that my editor told me, and I completely and utterly agree.
What editor?
Every team, the editor of my YouTube channel.
But we need an editor, man. Oh.
You need an editor?
Yeah.
But yeah, his name's Blair Gibson. He's very talented. He's got a big future ahead of him. He said that every team steps it up because it's Rangers. You know, it's a chance to knock down, you know, the team that should be at the top and make a statement. But in reality, we should win, and it's not just should. We have to, because Aberdeen are now 6 points ahead. Forbid lose a bit of finesse. That put, if Aberdeen won, 9 points clear. And Celtic, if they won, 33 points ahead of Rangers. That just can't happen. So I think there needs to be a fire within the belly of the Rangers team that Graham Murphy hopefully would implement. And I'm hoping for maybe, if we did win, it'll only be by 1 goal. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Rangers.
Yeah, because it will be a really tight game, but I do believe that you do have to win to try and stop Celtic winning on the Old Firm match. So I do think you do have to win like every game up until then, the way that it's worked out.
Yeah.
And Celtic have to draw 1 or something. But yeah, so the next one is Aberdeen versus Ross County. That one, I believe Aberdeen will win. They will definitely win by, I think, probably be about 3-1 maybe. We'll go 3-1. Aberdeen, obviously.
Yeah, I'd say definitely don't rule out Ross County, no matter what their recent results would say, because Liam Boyce, of course, is their striker, and I think he's second, if not third, top scorer in the Scottish Premier League with 14 goals. Now, that doesn't go without being noticed, but Aberdeen, after demolishing Motherwell, was it 7-2, 6-2?
7-2, yeah.
7-2. That's making a statement. So I hope that Ross County could put up some sort of defence. But is it away at Pittodrie?
Yeah.
Well, no one wants to be away at Pittodrie. It's a very, very hard place to play a game. So yeah, potentially you're right. I think if Aberdeen would win, maybe 2-1.
Good enough. Oh, good old typical goal fest. Celtic versus Hamilton. Finished high for Celtic. The memorable one being 8-0, I think, last year.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, I must admit, last year I didn't keep up with the Scottish Premier League. There was a lot that when Rangers came into the Premier League that I didn't know. I didn't need to look it up because I wasn't there. You know, we weren't there, so I specialised in my team and no one else. But so Celtic versus Hamilton. I'm going to say that Hamilton could get a sneaky goal because Celtic, lately they've been going down and then coming back to win by a huge margin. Which, if you can do it, winning by a huge margin, no matter what way you do it, that's ultimately what you want. So I think maybe Celtic will win 4-1.
4-1, yeah. I'd probably say about 3-1. Yeah, probably about that. Maybe even Celtic keep a clean sheet. Because Craig Gordon,
it'd be interesting.
He is improving again after. As long as he doesn't come running out and does something stupid, they probably should keep a clean sheet. Motherwell v Dundee. Well, Dundee's for them. They probably should win, but it's away at Ford Park. So, well,
let's put it this way: Dundee will be confident because they've just beaten Rangers 2-1. Motherwell got gubbed by Aberdeen 7-2, and then they played Celtic and lost 2-0. So I think going by run of form, I say Dundee should nudge that one by the same scoreline as the Rangers game, but they are away, and that always does play a part. But I'll be interested to see Goggsy's video on that one.
Yeah. Probably 3-2. I'd go because Dundee's defence, they are lacking, like, a captain in that defence. So,
just like Rangers.
Yeah. Well, they do need to improve their defence, Dundee. Because the only defender, like, which I think is actually good is Darren O'Dea, and then that's it. Like, and then then he isn't even that good since he left Celtic, which is a shame. Anyway, Partick Thistle versus Hearts of Midlothian.
Oh,
that.
Now, what was the score? Hearts versus Hibs.
3-1 Hibs.
Fucking hell. Okay, right. That was on last night, and I saw people uploading statuses with laughing faces. But honestly, I don't care enough to watch that. I think. Maybe if if Hearts lose 3-1, I think maybe they could push once again a 2-1 or a 1-0 away at home. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 because they conceded 3 against a team that is a division below them. Sorry, that'd be 1-2 then basically.
Yeah, I would personally go with, because Hearts feel like they would probably need to repay their fans after seeing them getting because apparently they did get like gubbed, like with all Hibs or something. So I think Hearts would have to repay their fans. So yeah, probably 1-0. Well, no, 2-1, 3-1, something like that for Hearts. Anyway, then Johnston and Kilmarnock. That is probably the closest one of the lot. Well, no, Motherwell Dundee.
Well, first things first.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Nobody cares.
Yeah, right.
Then Johnston and Kilmarnock. But then,
Who cares about that game?
You know, but yet again, who cares about Motherwell and Dundee? Wait, who cares? Who cares about any game when Rangers are not playing, right? Just who cares?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Good man. You know the drill. So right, okay. St Johnstone versus.
Just favour Rangers and I'll grow big.
It's true though. It's true. You have to admit that's what happens. Like it's just like so many people flock to one team, and we're the team to support. Yeah, but
yeah.
So as you're saying,
yeah.
St Johnstone Kilmarnock. Could you see a draw?
I could because yeah, I could. There's not much difference in quality, really. They've literally got like nobody in that team, like which springs to mind.
I know who you should get on this podcast. That Kilmarnock fan.
Oh great! Oh, Gordon Sawyers.
Yeah, man.
He's too funny.
Imagine that. So, what do you think about the result? Well, my beloved Killy lost 2-0. Yeah, no. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think.
Like banging on his door. I'm trying to record the video. My manager just left my club.
Oh no! I can't find his YouTube channel, but I can find all the videos of him.
Yeah.
Right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been hosted by the brilliant Dugout, and this has been the guest who probably won't be on for a while again. But if he wants me on, I'll join right away. It's Ben from Rangers Fans Channel. Be sure to check us out. Our Twitter is @AllThingsGers.
And yeah, we'll see you.